Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kathy Hester, and welcome to my kitchen. It's been a busy week. How has your week been? I know that a holiday is coming up soon, and we've got some things in the works. So tomorrow, I'm going to put up a video about how to make the dog cookies. And it's really awesome because you make them in a sheet pan, so you can make a lot to either stock up for your own pupper or to give as gifts. And then on Christmas Day, I'm going to put up a video where you can make a holiday tofu and gravy. I'm using the air fryer as an example, but you could totally do it in your oven. So we're going to get those kind of recipes coming up. I see some people are coming in. Ooh, I always have this up so loud. So I would love to know how you guys are doing and what's up. Hi, Annette from Asheville. We miss going to Asheville. We haven't been in a very, very long time. So once it's travel safe, we'll definitely be there. Plant is one of my favorite restaurants next to Fiction Kitchen, which is in my own Raleigh area. And if you guys are in the Raleigh-Durham area at all, I think their holiday meals are probably already booked up for pickup tomorrow at Fiction Kitchen, but do go ahead and order something from them. They have the best setup. So it's in downtown Raleigh, which is a little sometimes hard to park, but you just drive in front, they come out, they give you your stuff, and you just drive away. You can pay on the phone, and they could really use some local support. And the food, it's world-class vegan food right here in the Triangle. So if you guys haven't been to Fiction Kitchen, you've got to try it. They have lots of gluten-free options. If you talk to them, I know that they've made Chef AJ oil-free options when she's been here in the past. Obviously, tomorrow when they're doing a big holiday order is not the time to ask, but after that, I bet they could do some stuff. Good morning, Deborah and Christine. Oh, awesome. And she says she loves what I do and looking forward to the spice blend. You guys know I'm like the spice blend queen. And I was trying to plan some things, and as I was cleaning up in the kitchen, I was like trying to figure out what things I need to replenish, and this is one of them. Oh, and Amy loves my shirt. I know. I love this shirt. I paid too much for it, but I'm going to wear it until there's 3 threads left. It is my happy, relaxed shirt. And you guys also, most of you know that I've been off caffeine most of this year. I had caffeine today, so if I have this little bit of a manic look about me, I'm planning on just spinning myself up and cleaning back where you guys are. So use the neurosis-causing caffeine for the power of good, should you have any. Oh, and Annette says we should meet up when we come there. Absolutely. One of our favorite things to do, and if you guys haven't been to Asheville, so I live in North Carolina, slightly not in the middle, but it's kind of in the middle-ish as far as weather and all that. So there's beach on one end, and there's mountains on the other, and Asheville is in the mountains. And they have all kinds of really wonderful artisans of all kinds, and pottery, food, just some neat stuff. So I like to go and stay there and just wander around downtown Asheville, like literally just look at stuff, have some vegan snacks, walk up, you know, these hills that remind me of like being in San Francisco, kind of like, can I do this? Can I not do it? So I feel like we work everything off. There's also a fancy resort there called Grove Park. And I have had a successful vegan meal a long time ago in one of the fancier restaurants there. They were able to hook me up. But they have this like world-class spa. Like you go in, it's like a grotto lined with stones and stuff, and there's like hot tubs and waterfall pools to massage your neck, and like floaty pools where you hear music. And it's not cheap to go there for a day, but like Cheryl and I have gone, I think at least at one point it was like $100. There's saunas, there's girl sides and boy sides and mixed sides, but there's like the fireplace quiet room where you can take a nap and oh my God. And so we would spend from open to close. Like we'd get it was awesome. And that's one thing I was telling Cheryl that I miss so much because we haven't actually been in several years anyhow. So that's top of our first car trip agenda for sure. Oh, and Mia's here. Awesome. And hi Gina and Lizzie from England, and UK is on my longer bucket list. So actually what I'm hoping to do, what I was going to try to do before the pandemic was this year I was going to try and see if I could get into the Veg Fest circuit over there, because I want to see all the Harry Potter stuff. And I have to go to the UK to see all of it. So it just has to happen. So I have to find a way that my food love and my Harry Potter love can converge. So maybe teach some classes while I'm there or something like that. Something that is good for everyone. That's what I'm putting out in the world. Oh, and Apple's here, and I just love Apple's new avatar with the Happy Christmas suit and hat. That's awesome. Oh, and if I say Facebook user, it's because you're probably in a group. It could be even in my free private group that if you're not in, you should get into, which is Vegan Recipes Cooking with Kathy Hester. Just go in there and say, I saw you live, and you don't have to answer all the questions. You can also get on the mailing list just to know what's happening. Not a lot's happening right now, but soon I'll have a few things going on. Also, again, depending on where you're watching this, it could be anywhere. I wrote, wherever you see where I say that we're doing breakfast spice blend, you will also see the link to the recipe. You will see a link to a free holiday ebook. You just have to put in your name and your email address, and you will be put on the email list, but you'll get this free like 5 or 6 recipe little ebook I made last year that has the dog cookies I'm going to show you tomorrow. It's got some chili spice blend, some body powder, it's just some really inexpensive, easy, fun to make gifts. So even if you don't do Christmas, if that's not your holiday, they're gifts really that are good for any time of the year. So I like to have a little gift closet. So if I forget somebody's birthday or I meet somebody new and didn't know, right? It's not always my fault, though sometimes it is. And they're just kind of fun to have. Now, in the back page of that ebook, it's going to tell you to go to kathyhester.teachable.com. I don't have that anymore. So just know that as well. Hey, Jackie. Oh, and Annette says her boyfriend works at Grove Park and will take us around. Ooh, was there before they got bought the last time, you could get some really cheap deals. And one time we stayed there for $100 and they upgraded us to this amazing room. So it's always my favorite. They've got these at Christmas time, they actually have a gingerbread competition. I mean, this is like a resort. This isn't a hotel. This is like a thing. And just to go there, even if you're staying somewhere else, to go there and hang out is really cool. And Deborah said she did the Harry Potter walking tour in London. And I'm a little bit jealous, but I am happy for you as well. Oh, Infinite Love and Gratitude. What a lovely, lovely name. Thank you. Says hello, and Jeremy says I wish I could. He wishes I could market some of those spice blends, and attempted the potato black bean sausage patties, but my blend was gross. Huh. Well, let's see what we can figure out here, because I'll show you my process, and Jeremy, I'm not sure how many lives that you've caught. So one of the things I do is show my process, because if I have an older spice or a newer spice, I may end up changing that blend. So I think oftentimes figuring those out can be helpful. So tell me if this isn't helpful. There's a part of me, and I've been asked to do some spice blends to market and sell. I just haven't quite been at that space yet, though I'm headed that way a little bit. So we'll see. The more you guys say, hey, I want to buy your spice blends, probably the more I will go ahead and put that in. It'll move up in my list of 80 bazillion things that I have planned for this year and next year. Oh, Jeremy, thank you so much. Jeremy just super chatted me, which means for those of you who've never done that, I forgot I even had it enabled, is that he tipped me. He gave me a little monetary tip. But anyhow, so thank you very much. I do appreciate that. And Apple, yeah, everybody's chatting. I love this. Okay, awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's bring it all together. So if you're here and you're like, who is this lady? I'm Kathy Hester. You are in my kitchen, and I'm glad. I like having you on the other side of the counter with me while I'm making things. So I printed out, because I had caffeine and my attention span now is like less than a gnat. So you can use brown sugar or date sugar or leave it sugarless. However, American breakfast sausage is what we're kind of looking to give that spin to. That's going to have some sugar in it. It just does. So I was kind of wandering off in my caffeine extravaganza, and I was like, I wish Marilyn was here because she would know. I wonder if we like dehydrated apples and ground them into powder, if that would be sweet or not. See, these are the things that happen in my brain if I do caffeine, because that's all this date is. Now, the date versus the brown sugar, we're going to get less of a molasses flavor and more of a caramel sort of flavor. So know that that's going to change things too. And Jeremy, what sweetener did you use? And if you want, actually, tell me what sweetener you used and I will use that while I make this, if you're still around. But because we can do sweetener last. And let me grab my brown sugar in case that's what it is. Okay. So we can add these last. All right, so we want some sage, because sage is a big part of sausage in general, but especially this kind of American breakfast sausage blend that we're doing. Let's get, there we go. Aha, okay, awesome. So Jeremy said he used a store-bought blend to begin with. So I'm going to go ahead and try the date sugar then. Because if you did brown sugar, I would do that. That's traditionally what I've used in the past. But I'd like to see, I know some of you can't have refined sugar like brown sugar, so let's see what happens with this. And then see. So I'm using rubbed sage. There we go. And if you look at it, it always looks like insulation to me, because it's just kind of fluffy like that. And depending on, grabbing another, depending on how fresh or not this is, and this is pretty fresh, we may end up not needing as much, but we're going to put 4 teaspoon-ish. And Jeremy, if you are looking for one that you like and you can use salt, the Savory Spice Shop pork breakfast sausage is one that I really like. It does have quite a lot of salt in it though, so if you're looking for salt-free. So then we're going to take our onion powder and we're going to put 2 teaspoons of onion powder. And I'm not even going to worry about these little lumps because I'm grinding it. I'm putting it in my spice grinder. This could be your coffee grinder, and that would be fine. And we're going to put 2 teaspoons of garlic powder or granulated garlic. And in fact, I just refilled this, and at the Indian market, I got coarse ground, that's getting ready to go off, coarse ground garlic powder, which is pretty much like granulated garlic in our books. We're going to put 2 teaspoons of marjoram. And be as exact as you can, but don't really worry about it because we can adjust anything. You could put 2 teaspoons of salt in here now or leave it out. That's up to you. I'm going to leave it out for right now. We're going to put a teaspoon of thyme and a teaspoon of dried rosemary. Now you guys know I usually use rosemary powder because I don't like the way these things poke me in the mouth. But we're grinding this, so that's a really good time to use this kind of rosemary, or if you save some from your garden. We're going to use just a little bit of allspice. That gives it kind of a nice flavor. And allspice is used in a lot of things, but you don't taste it that much. If you smelled it, you would think it has cloves and cinnamon and things like that in there. And that's why it's called allspice. But it does bring forward this little bit of dark flavor that helps give it that real yummy sausage flavor. Now, I use nutmeg. If you have fresh nutmeg, go ahead and use it. I don't. So, and I'm putting about 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg in there. And depending on how fresh, my allspice and my nutmeg are a little older. So it's really, really possible that I will have to come back and add some of that. Now, the one thing I skipped in here was black pepper. I said 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Well, I can use some black peppercorns. And I'm probably going to use, I don't even know how to mathematically do this, but probably 3/4 of a 1/4 teaspoon. So just a heaping 1/8 of a teaspoon of peppercorns. Since I'm grinding it, it'll be extra fresh. You probably could just use 1/8. So the way this works is I put this on, and this is just my spice grinder attachment for my Ninja. And I don't think I put that in there. I don't know why I forgot to do that. But there's also like this other one I showed you too. You can get these guys, these little coffee grinders on Amazon for about 20, 25 bucks. They have 2 of these. So you could do one with coffee and one with spices, which would be a great way to do it because actually, even though this is mostly metal, in the bottom, there's still some, I don't know if it's plastic or silicone or whatever to kind of make everything work. That's going to hold a little bit of the scent of things. Okay, so it's going to be loud. I'm going to turn the power on. On this particular Ninja, which I'm sure there are like 17 versions ahead of this, there's extract is the strongest one I can do. And actually, let me let you see this from above, because you can see in through the top. There we go. See how quickly it goes to a powder? Okay, I'm going to stop this here. I have to take this off before I can take this off. And typically, because I can see the little smoke screen coming up over it. I don't know, so when I opened it, it's best if you let it settle, because I can smell that pepper. And if you've watched any lives with me, you know probably before it's all over, I'm going to sneeze or cough or something. My favorite thing to do is if I'm doing a veg fest, is to make jalapeno powder and say, make sure you don't do this, and I inhale it, and then I start coughing for 5 minutes. So, see, this smells really good to me. There's no sugar in here yet. So, let me take a little taste. I'm just going to put some on my finger. There's definitely enough rosemary and enough black pepper. I think I definitely want more nutmeg, which is not surprising, right? So I'm going to add another 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg in here. think there's enough onion, but I think I would like maybe just like a half a teaspoon of garlic. So I don't need double the amount of garlic. I think I would like maybe another half teaspoon of marjoram and another half teaspoon of thyme. Besides rosemary, I'm not really tasting an herbiness that I want to taste. Anybody else that wants it? I could probably go ahead. How much I think the sage isn't as strong. I'm going to add a whole extra teaspoon of sage because I'm not really tasting that so much. And then we'll do this and we'll put the sugar in too. Since I used whole black peppercorns, I wanted to go ahead and let this, oh God, come on, focus. There we go. I wanted to make sure that pepper was really ground well. If I was using brown sugar instead of date sugar, also I'm going to be concerned about not letting it get too wet because brown sugar is going to bring some moisture to this. Date sugar is pretty much bone dry. Okay, and I'm going to put a tablespoon of date sugar. I am thinking I'm going to need 2 tablespoons in the end because it's not quite as sweet and it's got a little bit of a different flavor. Let's see. Aha, Anita came in late, as did probably some other people. We're making a salt-free option. Actually, we're making it salt-free today. We're making a breakfast sausage spice blend. And what we're going to do is I have a recipe. The recipe you'll find for this also in there has a recipe for black bean potato sausage patties, which are really yummy. And I'm going to do a live about that in January with Idaho potatoes. So I thought, there's no need to wait to sausage up your life until then. You can put this sausage spice on croutons. You can put it on potatoes. You can put it on roasted potatoes. So many things to get this yummy, yummy flavor. Okay, so we're adding the sugar in. Here, let me let you see that again. Let's see if that's actually, yeah, I think that kind of, yeah, that kind of did it. Gonna put on some more. And since we're not, I'll do what I'm telling you to do this time and not open it up immediately. Because we're not grinding those peppercorns this time, and the date sugar is already ground pretty finely, that's why I'm not doing it quite so long. I don't know if you'll see, no, yeah, I waited long enough. Okay, I can smell the sweet note now. Definitely can smell more of the sage. So I'm feeling pretty good about that, so let me taste it. So I'm kind of spreading across my tongue and making sure either I taste an individual flavor that I put in or how it layered up to make it taste. And I definitely taste the herbiness more. I still get some of that salt mouthfeel from the granulated onion and garlic. I probably could have just put a half a teaspoon of extra rubbed sage instead of a whole teaspoon, but I'm not sad about it being a little bit extra sagey. I was trying to decide if I would put more allspice in there, but not. So while I'm tasting it on my tongue, you can kind of smell and taste at the same time. So if I smell it together, I can tell it's going to overpower what the flavors are right now. But so what you could do is just, and I think this is actually enough sweet. I'm kind of surprised, and if you had something like dried molasses or something, that could be cool, but this works just fine. So I think that could be really yummy. Now, it's not officially no sugar, but it is no refined sugar because we use date sugar, and date sugar is just dates that have been dehydrated and ground, just like what we're doing. You could make this sausage blend without grinding everything. You could just mix it all together. The reason I like to grind everything together is because then when you're mixing it in, like your mashed beans and potatoes and chia seeds and all that, just putting this in means as it spreads along, all the flavors are going to spread along with it. Whereas if we had big pieces of sage or big pieces of rosemary, it's not going to be as consistent a flavor throughout the patty, if that makes sense. Hi, Sophie. Yep, vegan sausage spice blend. So you could put this on anything, and this is just the breakfast sausage blend. So in my books, I have an andouille sausage, I have another breakfast sausage, I have Italian sausage, I have the oat sausage crumbles that's in the OATragrous Oatmeal book. And also around here, I put a link to Virtual Veg Fest so that we can get some books from there. And I've got tons of OATragrous Oatmeals. We've got the Revised Vegan Slow Cooker, air fryer, vegan cooking in your air fryer, and gluten-free vegan cooking in your Instant Pot, I believe. So those come from my house, so I can sign them to you. I know the mail is running, however the mail's running anyhow, but Virtual Veg Fest is a really great place to support and to order things from. So, and I can sign it for you. And I saw that they're also watching on YouTube. That is not why I said it, because it's already written before then. And Kathy said, oh, she finally caught me live. Yay, Kathy, we're so glad that you're here. And Gina said, and this is a great question, did you put any fennel seed in? No. I put fennel seed in my Italian sausage blend, but not in my breakfast sausage blend. Does that mean you can't put fennel in yours? Absolutely not. But growing up how I did, and let me see if I can find, because I actually do have that. Ooh, I wonder what else is going to fall on me. On my to-do list is cleaning out these cabinets. Ooh, I think this is it. This is actually the sausage blend, Jeremy, that I was telling you about, and you can get it online. Savory Spice Shop. Frying pan pork sausage spice is that one. And the only thing I might add into this, like this one has ginger, thyme, parsley, marjoram, red pepper, coriander, and some things like that. Oh, now I remember why we stopped using it. It is not vegan. It does have honey powder in it. So maybe don't buy it. Maybe make your own. Some coriander probably would be really nice, and I just ground some up. So I had coriander seeds, so I think I'll do that. But like for me, this is the closest smell to some of what I grew up with. And so if you're not sure if you can put something together and be happy with it, see, I don't think fennel seeds would make it bad at all. It just wouldn't make it what I want it to be. But you can smell them like this, right? And this would totally do it. So I'm going to try putting in like a teaspoon of coriander. And I think that would actually kind of make it awesome. And I'm always futzing with things. So let's see what happens. I'm letting that go a little bit longer because I really made it coarsely ground. Anita, you can get the exact recipe that I started out with on healthyslowcooking.com, and it's actually wherever you're watching it, I have a link to the recipe. So some things I am making and I'm just doing on camera, but this is one that I do have a recipe for. Probably what I should do I have a pen anywhere? Let's see if this pen works. I will try and go back and I did 1 teaspoon of coriander. And I think that's going to make it really better. It made it really better. It gave it an extra kind of, I find coriander to be very floral. So, yeah. And it's not the same as this exactly. But there are some similarities. So even if you don't want to eat this one, you could get it to just kind of go back and forth on. Or sometimes you can get sample spices. Like they have 7 or 8 different sausage blends for different meats. Obviously, we're not using it for meats at all anyhow. But I knew from growing up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, that this whole pork patty sausage thing was kind of the spice blend that I was looking for, a sausage blend that I grew up with. And there's so many different kinds of sausage, like bratwurst or this, that, and the other. And you can go on the interwebs and find some of these blends. Usually when I'm researching a blend that I'm trying to make, I go and I try to look all over, especially if it's something I'm not super familiar with. Because like bratwurst is one that I want to make because Cheryl comes from a Polish background. So she grew up eating lots of brats. And so for me, it doesn't matter if I mix it in with rice and beans or make patties out of it, or if I make seitan links. The thing about sausage is it's really about the spices anyhow. So that's how I see it. Okay, great. And just, let me see if I can come over here for a second. Yeah. Alrighty, we got rid of somebody. It's only good when they're trying to scam us. Look how strong we are now, people. So, anyhow, yes, yay for books. And you can get the exact recipe on healthyslowcooking.com. And if you don't see the things around, just look in potato sausage. So you're going to see the whole long post, right? Because that's how Google makes us do things these days. You'll see the recipe for the potato sausage, and keep scrolling, and below that is the recipe for this spice blend. And usually I just put it in something like a little mason jar, or even the cute little bitty jelly jars are great to do, and that also works great as a gift. Everything smells so good when you first make it. And then I just this is how lazy labeled this is. On top of the label, it's already been taken off. I've scribbled breakfast sausage. But you want to put something on there. And does that help you guys? Do you have some questions? So, and there's all kinds of spice blends that I do make. And when you get a spice blend, it can be hinky. And what I find, what I don't like about some of the savory spice blends, as well as Penzeys. Penzeys has some great spice blends that you can try as well. But a lot of them will have salt in them. And we know for me, even though I eat some salt, I want to get that flavor up to here. Instead of just going, well, the salt can only come up to here, so therefore I have to bring the flavor to here, and then grab a bunch of things to try and get the flavor up. So if you do a salt-free blend, because traditionally sausage is just super salt-laden too, because again, we're taking kind of this inferior product and trying to make it taste beautiful, which translates to vegan substitutes really well, because we're probably doing something bland like tofu or just beans and rice that aren't seasoned yet to start making these patties and things like that. So starting with this strong flavor forward blend, then just adding salt till we need it, until it's just right, or adding your generic salt substitute blend, which for me is a blend of garlic powder, onion powder, and ground celery seed. That, to me, that's a very basic one. It doesn't really it's not going to overpower the coriander or the sage or something like that. Whereas if you had, I think Trader Joe's has one and Miss Dash has one, and it just has some stronger herbs. And so it's going to taste more herby, which you might love. And if you love it, I really want that, then you should do it. What I want you to get out of this is that, let's say you were looking through here and you're like, I don't have marjoram. Who is this crazy lady with her marjoram? Please try to buy some marjoram because it's so good. But just use a little more time. Use half the amount of oregano, and then the other half, make it with thyme. Let's say you don't have allspice. I would put in the tiniest pinch of cloves, like baby pinch. Like, I can't even go that far down. With maybe just, again, a regular pinch of cinnamon. So there's going to be some substitutions you can do too. Like, there are going to be people who don't like certain things. Like, if you don't have coriander, then don't use coriander. I just added it in because I thought it would just enhance things a lot. I'm trying to think of what others, if you didn't have thyme, that would be hard. If you didn't have thyme and you had marjoram, I would just add more marjoram. The marjoram and thyme together kind of give it that little bit of herby, lighter, brighter flavor, whereas like the allspice, the black pepper, coriander, even sage and rosemary are kind of a little bit on the darker side to me. Oh, hi, Vanita. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, and Deborah says, Merry Christmas to everyone, and Merry Christmas, Happy Winter Solstice, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, belated Happy Hanukkah, and I'm sure there's like 8 million holidays I'm missing in this. So if I'm missing your holiday, happy holiday, the one that you celebrate. Me, I like all the holidays. I think they're grand. So I want to celebrate the holiday where I go and get to take the tour, the Harry Potter tours in the UK. So soon that will be my personal holiday. And Jeremy, did that help a little bit? Hopefully. And if you don't have a spice grinder, let's talk about this in a minute. So you don't have to have this Ninja and this spice grinder. I make a lot of spices, so I do like having the extra horsepower I get from having a stronger blender with this attachment. Again, we looked at like these new coffee grinders that have detachable ones, and so you can get one with 2, which is what I recommend. If you have a coffee grinder that you're currently using or used to use, run some white rice if you have it, or brown rice. White rice doesn't have the bran, so that can help absorb some more of the flavors stuck on the plastic, or oils, because coffee has a lot of oil. And that's kind of what we're doing. We're trying to get some of those flavors off. Grind that, grind your spices, do some more rice. And that way your coffee won't taste like breakfast spice. So is it such a bad thing? Maybe savory coffee will be the new thing. Maybe you will start that, right? If you don't have a coffee grinder or anything to grind spices, someone asked me before, can you use a mortar and pestle? Yes, you can, and more power to you. My wrists can't do that kind of work anymore. But that's the way they used to do it back in the day, so of course you can. If you're making larger batches than this, so if I was making enough, let's say I was selling this, and I wanted to make this much, I could use a dry container in the Vitamix, or just try to use the regular Vitamix. It powders things pretty well on its own. The dry container works quite well. So there's all different ways you could do this. Okay, awesome, and it did help. Okay, good, Jeremy. And you guys, if you end up having some spice questions or something like that, you can ask in the free Facebook group, Vegan Recipes Cooking with Kathy Hester, and you can email me. Now, my email is getting a little overwhelmed, so if I don't email you back within a day or two, email me again saying, did you see my email? Because it's been a little crazy. And it's kathyhester@gmail.com, and just say like recipe help please or something like that, so it'll stand out and I'll know that you're not trying to sell me the 10th thing of the day. I am taking off a couple of days off of lives coming up. You will get new videos, so be sure to stay tuned and come and hang out, because Vlogmas isn't actually 31 days of live, and this is like what, this is day 23. So you guys, this is the 23rd day in a row that I've gone live. The 2 days that I taught classes, and if you're bored and you don't have anything to do over the holidays, go to kathyhester.podia.com, and you can go and grab a class that's already been pre-recorded and watch it. We did holiday appetizers last week, which was pretty yummy. I made some coconut air-fried tofu, so it's kind of reminiscent of coconut shrimp. So that's a nice, happy holiday meal to have for yourself. And we did a whole bunch of other things. What else was I was going to say something. No, I have forgotten. Oh, I wanted to tell you again, if you want, tomorrow we're going to make dog cookies. The day after, we're going to make holiday tofu and gravy. So again, I'm going to be setting those up this afternoon so that they're scheduled to come out. So you should, I'm still trying to decide if it's going to come out exactly like this, and then it'll just be a disclaimer that this isn't live, and I'll try and pop in and answer questions if I can. I just want to stay in my jammies for 3 whole days. That's really the bottom line here. And I thank you for supporting me in that exciting goal that I have for the end of 2020. Oh, and Apple said, I sent you an email with a photo of my Brussels sprout dinner. No rush or response. Okay. Oh, yeah, I really want to see it. I will double check and see if I missed that, but that's awesome. What else was I going to say? So you're going to get those recipes. Okay, here we go. Back on track. Join, if you're not already in Vegan Recipes Cooking with Kathy Hester Facebook group, please come join. It's super nice, wonderful community. You get to see the people on the lives already interact. It's a very kind, happy place, which we all need right now. Also, if you're looking for some holiday gifts or just to have a project to do, go ahead and sign up and get that holiday ebook where you're getting like 5 recipes. If you're already signed up on my email list, you can still sign up through there again. You won't get 2 emails. You'll only still get 1 when I send out a general email, but you can get that book. So don't hesitate for that. It's not going to mess anything up. So I know Joanne told me earlier she thought she lost hers, so just sign in and get another one, right? It's free. It's an ebook. You can have as many of them as you want. I lose that stuff all the time. And Gina says, I deserve it, and jammies are underrated. Jammies are not underrated for me. I did manage until today to wash and keep up with wearing the same sweatsuit for like a week, though. So that was the goal. Now the jammy goal may happen. Okay, awesome, you guys. So you've got some choices. If I can, I will pop in while the video's playing over the next 2 days. If not, I will still come back and answer your questions as you have questions, though, okay? So don't worry about that. It may take me a little bit to get back with you, but I appreciate all of you guys so much, and just showing up and hanging out with me as I'm doing all these lives. It's been really nice to visit with you guys every day. So thank you for all of that, and I hope that you have a wonderful holiday week. And I will be robot me will be talking with you tomorrow. Okay? Have a good time, and I'll see you guys personally in a couple of days.